So you've started networking and then you get the reply, please apply online. And then your heart sinks. You feel like, hey, they just don't want to speak to me. They're just fobbing me off. Now, they might be. You might have reached out to them in the wrong way, or they might get 500 messages a day. And I'm talking about hiring managers, recruiters, decision makers. These are not easy people to reach out to. They might just say, just apply online, leave me alone. I'm too busy. I don't want to deal with you. Just make an application, let the ATS sort you out. And if that's the case, welcome to the world of job search. This is how it feels when you network. Now, does please apply online mean go away? Or does it mean here's another opportunity to carry on the conversation? You see, I subscribe to the latter. And speaking of subscribing, if you find these videos really helpful, like and subscribe. It really makes a big difference to me. It boosts my confidence. It makes more of these videos for you to help you in your job search. So see, it's pretty symbiotic, right? Anyway, back to the video. So please apply online. If you just apply and you don't respond, you lose an opportunity to carry on the conversation. Because please apply online doesn't mean go away. It means please apply online. Now, you should apply, but I want you to take a leaf out of my book, which I call looping. And this is an exercise that I teach my active students. Looping allows you to carry on the conversation. What do I mean by looping? Imagine this scenario. Please apply online. And you respond with, I can confirm I've applied online. While I still have your attention, I would love to know, insert intelligent question. Imagine this scenario. You make an application after they tell you that, and then you carry on the conversation and you show how much of a high profile, high value, high perceived value job seeker you are. Imagine that. You make an application, so you flag your profile. You flag your profile even more by letting them know that you've done it. And then you continue to flag your profile, and I mean flag in a good way, increase your perceived value by more questions. For example, I can confirm I've applied online. While I still have your attention, I would love to know what the key metric of success is. Let's assume they respond back by saying, well, we look for people who are active communicators. Now, let's assume you are an active communicator. Then you can say, I'm so glad you've mentioned that. That's something that I've highlighted in my profile. Also, I would love to get 5 minutes of your time to discuss my profile and how active communication is a big part of who I am. Now, that's one example. They might say, we're looking for leaders. If you're a leader, then you say, I'm so glad you've mentioned that. I would love to have a conversation to showcase my leadership quality. If they say yes, you have a meeting with someone who knows that you've applied online, who knows you have a leadership potential from your perspective anyway. So on that phone call meeting, you have an opportunity to sell yourself. Imagine the possibilities here. Please apply online. Thank you so much for taking the time to respond. I can confirm I've applied. While I still have your attention, I would love to know what is more important, soft skills or company culture? Well, we like company culture. Excellent. What is the company culture you're looking for as a fit for new applicants? Well, we focus on hierarchical and innovative fits. Excellent. I'm so glad you mentioned that. That's a company culture fit that I have and I'm looking for. Do you have 5 minutes to discuss? Now, they may say no. They may say, look, I have no 5 minutes. I'm busy. I'm the head of HR of a multinational company. I have policy meetings. I have this. I have that. I have whatever it is. It doesn't mean you should go away. And by the way, no doesn't mean no in job search. It means maybe. It's like a delayed yes in job search. So you can then say, who do you recommend that I reach out to who may have 5 minutes to discuss the profile of the job I've just applied to? You're looping the conversation forward. Now, if you're not doing this, you're missing out. You're in the basket of all the other job seekers who've said, okay, and haven't applied. Some people literally get offended when they hear, please apply online, because they think it means no. It doesn't mean no. It means please apply online. You're just structuring it in that way, but you're also missing the point that the market is so saturated. There's just so many people applying that you feel like it's a fob off. And fob off meaning go away. It's not a go away. It's not a fob off. It is literally please apply online. But it's up to you to take responsibility to increase your chances of getting shortlisted. So you have to do everything you can, literally. Send the message back, keep the conversation going. Now, what happens when you find yourself in a different conversation? This is a good thing because you've applied, you've let them know you've applied, you've asked a question, you've got an answer, you've replied to their reply. Now you have a meeting, now you have a recommendation. You see, when you network, you have a bundle of opportunity that you can get a recommendation or a referral on top of making an application. I want you to imagine that the question you ask when they say, please apply online, is so good that it makes all the other applicants look like crap because you've come in with a really good question. You might understand the company culture before you've asked that question, and you take a step further. You could say, look, judging by the research that I've done, I can see the company culture is like this, but what I'm really interested in is the projects that you guys run. And when you're hiring new people for these projects, what is the one key metric of success you look for? Now, imagine impressing a hiring manager, a decision maker, a HR business partner with a question like that. They're going to think, this guy's applied, he's asked a really good question, and now they want to know more about projects. Now, if they push you back and say, hey, we can't really talk about projects, fine, no problem. You just change the subject and you continue the conversation. No problem, completely respect that. The reason I've reached out, the reason I'm asking this question is I've started to network and I want to stick out from the crowd. Now, some of you might say, well, Milo, I'm introverted. I don't really like reaching out to people. I don't really want to bother people and annoy them with these questions. I would rather just apply. That's fine. You could do that. But there's a reason you're watching this video. There's a reason you watch me talk about this stuff, because you've been doing that and it doesn't work in the way that you thought it could. Your parents are probably telling you, hey, just keep applying. Something will happen and fine. You can continue doing that, but you and I both know that that's not the case. The market's changed. You need to do more. So when you do hear, please apply online, it doesn't mean go away, but it also doesn't mean don't do anything. It means continue the conversation. Now, if you continue the conversation until you get to a point where you are having a completely different conversation, more specific to the type of role. Imagine this. You reach out to someone, they ask you to apply, you ask a question, they answer your question, you ask another question, they answer that one, you ask for a meeting, they say yes, you have a half an hour Zoom call with the hiring manager, they ask you about your experience, they go through the application you've made, they shortlist it, they tell everybody else to go away, you are hired for the position. That happens every single day. Literally, every single day, people that I teach do this. They get interviews on a daily basis. If you look at my LinkedIn, one of my students, Malavika, got one offer, 3 interviews in 2 weeks of doing this. Literally, please apply online. She said the same loop. She got into the same conversations. She got informational calls, generated an offer in literally 10 days. 10 days after months of not applying. If you want to work together and if you want to see what she did, there's a link in my LinkedIn. There's a link in the description for my LinkedIn. There's also a link to book a call with me so we can actually go through this. But back to please apply online. Please apply online does not mean go away. It means please apply online. But for you, it means continue the conversation. Because what you're doing is, okay, this person doesn't want me to apply. I'm not going to respond to them. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm just going to hope for the best. I've been doing the whole application thing for like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. I'm not hired yet, but hopefully everything will change for the better. This job will magically land in my lap. It's going to be the perfect opportunity and I'm going to say yes. And then everything will be okay. I'm so sorry to tell you this. That is la la land stuff. That's not going to work. What will work is you getting proactive. There are more job seekers than there are jobs. The competition is tough. You might have a lot of experience, and I speak to people with a lot of experience every single day. They're not getting hired. They're making applications. They're reaching out to me saying, Milo, I need a strategy. I need a plan. I need to know what I need to know to do to actually get interviews. Why are some people getting offers in 2 weeks? And why am I applying for 6 months and nothing's happening? Well, one component of that is You're getting asked to apply online. So please apply online. And you're just applying. And you're just waiting. And you're just hoping for the best. And nothing's happening. So rather than just doing the base level traditional stuff, you have to start thinking outside of the box. In this video, I've covered thinking outside of the box by element of looping. Thank you so much for taking the response or taking time to respond. I can confirm I've applied while I still have your attention. Insert question, carry on the conversation, get an answer to your question, carry on the conversation by validating what they say. We're looking for this. This is the company culture fit. These are the soft skills we're looking for. This is the personality trait that we are looking for. This is the career progression that we need. This is the key thing from the question you've asked. Your validation. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Can we have a meeting? I have that. I have that profile. Even if you don't have it, you can say, I'm so glad you've mentioned that. That's what I aspire to be. I aspire to have that skill. Would this role that I've just applied to, would it cater for career progression to allow me to build that? What do you have to lose if you do that? Literally, think about it. You might get ignored. So you ask a question, they ignore you. You're still alive. You're still here. You just continue doing it until you get a response. Best case scenario, they reply. They give you an answer. They answer your question. You carry on the conversation. Best case scenario from that, you get a meeting. You have an opportunity to sell yourself. Now you might think, well, Milo, I'm not too confident. I don't know how to sell myself. Well, tough. You need to get good at that. You need to get good at selling yourself because, again, there's more job seekers than there are jobs. You need to present yourself. Think about having an interview. Let's say everything works and then you have an interview. Are you going to go into the interview and then say, hey, just to let you know, I'm not really good at selling myself. I'm more of an introvert. They're going to say, yeah, that's great, but why should we hire you? We've got 15 other people who are begging for the job. Why should we hire you? You can't say, I'm a bit introverted. I'm not too confident. I've got imposter syndrome. Those things are all probably true. You might not have the confidence. And how could you when you haven't had the opportunity to present yourself? You might have imposter syndrome, and that's normal. Trust me. I deal with CEOs who have imposter syndrome. I deal with graduates who have imposter syndrome without the experience. I deal with people who are moving from one industry and job into a completely different industry and job. And you can go on the How to Job website. You can see the people I've worked with and how they've overcome that. Imposter syndrome is just a signal to get better and to learn how you should present yourself. Imagine expressing yourself in this way. And please apply online is a perfect way to do this. You can say, I don't have that experience, but I would love to learn more. Please apply online. I can confirm I have. Just out of interest, while I still have your attention. What experience are you looking for? Well, we're looking for people who have 4 years of experience. Let's say you have one. Then you can respond by saying, I've applied for that job. Would there be another opportunity that allows me to build the experience? Why not send that message? What do you have to lose? You might get a no, or better yet, you might get a meeting. That meeting turns into an offer. You won. That's it. Look, if you find this content helpful and if you like it, subscribe, like, send me a comment. Put a comment in the comment box. I look at all of them. And if you want me to create a video on something you're struggling with, let me know. I'm more than happy to do it. I'll see you on the next one.